Kind of shape this little spot here. Now you don't want to lose your horizon glow right there. So all you want to do is kind of shape this in here. Okay, that should take care of that. Now remember also, this first session or two is going to be considered our underpainting day, and probably part of next session too. You got to get it blocked in, okay? And that's what's neat about this painting, is that we go from dark to light. So we get all the values in there, the darks and lights. Then on the last program or so, we put all the details in. So it makes a painting like this so fascinating. You just build it right up out of nowhere. It looks like a little miracle here. All right, now then, we're going to start looking at the different segments of these mountains back here, and we're going to start blocking those in, because if you guys will notice something unique about this, is these clouds actually wrap around into these mountains. See how they come in there? So you have to have these mountains in there in order to build these clouds in. So we're going to ad-lib this now. We're not going to try to paint it just as we see it. But we come back down here now, continue with our number 10 bristle brush, a little burnt sienna and blue, a little bit of purple, and we're going to go ahead now and block in this layer right here. Now here's a good lesson right in and of itself. See, this value has to be a little bit darker than this value. See how it's shifted? It also needs to be a little warmer. So we're going to put a little bit of burnt sienna in there. You can actually put a little red in there if you'd like. These are those red rock canyons. They're just so beautiful. So I'm going to put a little more warmth in there. See how that warmed that up? Okay, so now we kind of get this one in here. Now don't be afraid to put this paint on fairly thick. Sometimes we paint too thin, and in acrylic painting, if you paint too thin when it dries, a lot of times you won't get the coverage, and then it dries with this real rough, scratchy look to it, and that's what we try to avoid. And don't be afraid to take the time you need down here on your palette to get the color you want. Okay, now so I got that just a little too brown. So what are we going to do? Yep, we add a little blue to it, a little more gesso to it. And we just kind of gray it on up here. There we go. Now that's that value. Now we go to the next value, which is a little bit darker than that one. So we go ahead and take a little more blue. We work in the same area right here, never change the spot. And a little more blue and brown, and a little bit of purple. Now you can throw a little crimson in there if you want to, alizarin crimson, cad red. Okay. See if that's a little darker. See, just a little bit darker, and it's just all there is to it. Okay. Now then, like I said, we're not going to get everything in here because it's kind of impossible when you have a painting that's as big as the one I'm showing you here, shrunk down to this size. So we'll just put the main components in here. Now this next one will be a similar value, but I want you to notice something over here. In the finished painting, we have value 1, value 2, and then when we jump to here, this is where the highlighting starts. So we're going to go ahead and block it in pretty much the same value. We'll adjust the forward values as we highlight, okay? Here we don't have much highlighting, just very suggestive. Here it gets a little more detailed. So basically, we can make it just a hair darker if we need to, but you're going to stick with a similar value and a similar color pretty much all the way across here now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just begin on across here, and in fact, you know what I think would be best for us? Just go ahead and mix a nice big pile of this color. So go ahead and take quite a bit of white here, or your gesso. Take a little nice batch of red, burnt sienna, some ultramarine blue, a little bit of red. Mix all this together here and create that nice deep grayish brown. It's really a beautiful color. Now, it doesn't have to be mixed real good. See, it's just kind of there. And let's just come on up here and block all these in. This is really fascinating to watch this develop. Now notice my little edges up here, make them very irregular. Just have fun with it. You can pick up touches of red, other colors to throw in there. Especially the reds, because remember, these are the red rock canyons, and you want to get that little reddish tint. So as you add the gray, add a little bit of this cadmium red light. Now, if you're not sure about our palette here, folks, we have a specific palette that I use, and if you write into us or give us a call, just let us know, and we'll send you a free layout on the palette thing so you can know what colors we use, because that's something you need to know, the palette layout. Like, for instance, that red right there is better than some other reds. That's a Cad Red Light. You can use a Cad Red Deep or Cad Red Medium. I like this one because it's got a little more orange in it. It works perfect for this. Some reds don't work as good, so that's why I like to make sure you all have everything you need. So if you're not sure, just give us a holler. Now, shape this. Bling that out. I'm just going to start shaping my top of my mountains here just a little bit. Now you're saying, well, that doesn't look like mountains yet. Well, it won't. If you've been following the show long enough, you'll find out that this all starts turning into mountains here before too long. Now we're going to go on over to the left side of the painting. Now this one will get a little darker. So we have a little more burnt sienna, a touch more purple, and a little bit more blue. Let's check this out here. Now you want to keep this area right here. That's what gets your eye way back into the painting. Make that a little darker. More blue, burnt sienna, and purple. Those are the colors that will make this really pop out. Now there we go. See how dark that is? You really want that nice and deep. Look, I'm even going to go a little darker. You look at the finished product over here, you'll see how dark it really is. And remember, folks, this is really up front. This is really close to us here. See how I'm putting this on? Use these vertical strokes. You might as well get used to this vertical stroke to kind of give this that rocky look. Okay. Go ahead and put a little over here. A little darker at the base. Now remember, this may come out somewhat different than the original. But that's okay. Now we've got this little piece right here. This is kind of a fascinating little separate mountain range right here. You can see it right there. I'm going to close in on that. This shape right here is very important to the painting. You can't let it block your eye flow, so you still have to have this opening here. And see this little mist we've built in here? We're going to add that mist later. Right now I just want to get this blocked in. That'll get all of our mountains blocked in. Then we can get our snow underpainted. Then we'll be ready to start detailing this thing probably here in our next session or so. So let's try to get this now in there. About the same color and value that we were just using on the other one there. So let's get this one up and running. Get this a nice shape here. By the way, you can make this shape kind of your own. Once you start doing these kind of mountains, you guys, just have fun with it. Remember, you have the artistic license. You're the one that gets to decide what you want things to look like. My job is only to give you good basic techniques and technical information. Your job then is to take it and do what you want to do with it. Okay, now see, now we have, see the values changing now? Already we're creating some depth here, and we're not even close to the details yet. You can just let these kind of run into each other. This one, of course, overlaps this one, and you'll see it that way better later. Now, I'm going to take a little burnt sienna, and I'm going to go ahead and warm this one up just a hair more. This one too. And see, I'm just scattering. See, I'm just kind of dragging it through. I'm not really making a specific thing. I'm just kind of scattering the reddish